Hey y'all. So I ran up across something on Instagram that was interesting. And the guy asked the ladies, how many flaws is a man entitled to have? Or what flaws are you willing to accept? Because, some of us, we be asking our friends like, he do that, girl, you accept that, whatever. Me personally, off the top of my head, if he lives at home, because it is an inflation and rent is high. But my thing is, there's nothing wrong with living at home, but you have to have privacy. I remember kicking it with this one guy, and his father came to the basement while I was in the shower. I'm like, nah, bruh. Like, why is it that he's just able to come down when he wants to? Like, I get it. Like, especially if you live in a private house, who wants to leave a private house to go to an apartment? Most people don't want to do that. And especially if you have loans to pay back, especially if you have a car to pay for and you have expenses, you don't want to leave your parents' house to go to somebody else's house or building and be paying extra bills that you are, that you already have to pay. If anything, the house goes to you, you know. Yeah, so my son came in the kitchen and he's making a mess again. That's one of my pet peeves. Like, I just finished cleaning, I don't know, all the moms out there. And I don't have OCD. I'm just a normal mom, whatever. But I hate dishes in the sink. I really do. Like, from the time I was young, even in my 20s when I first had my apartment, like, I always make sure if I'm going to the club, dishes is washed. I don't like dishes in the sink. I don't know how people live like that, but for me, I hate dishes in the sink. So I already washed the dishes, the kitchen is closed, and my son is coming in and eating more food. Like, I don't understand that about people. You already ate. Why are you eating again? If you want to eat ice cream or if you want something to drink, cool, but why are you having a whole meal? I think that's just so, like, annoyance. I hate that. That's like one of my pet peeves. But back to what I was saying. Yeah, so for me, yes, if you live at home, I'll accept that. It's like, it's an inflation. Like for me, I've been in the P's for 12 years. So I know how hard it is to find a spot. It's very hard. Even if you do make enough, it's very hard to get a spot. Very, very hard. Very hard. It's extremely hard, in New York City to just get a place. So I would accept that, but you have to have privacy. And if you're quiet, I'll accept that. That's something I would have to get used to. But I like a man who, like, I could truly say, like, most of the men that I've dated have been very open with me and they've told me things and confided in me. I can't see myself being in a relationship or marriage to a man that doesn't talk to me. But I would accept it as long as he treat me right. So if he's a good guy and everything else is good, I guess I'll accept that flaw. Other things I'm not accepting. Like, my ex was a smoker. If you're a smoker, I'm not accepting that. For the simple fact, people that smoke for years, their teeth is rotten. Like, my ex had rotten teeth. Like, not all people, but the smell of cigarettes was just so disgusting to me. And he had a nerve to call me corny. I said, well, go get you a bitch who drink and smoke. It's that simple. If you feel like I'm corny, like, okay, like, and you corny for smoking and drinking. How about that? Drinking is fine. I drink socially. But I'm not going to accept someone who's an alcoholic. Like, I would never, like, date an alcoholic. I dated an alcoholic before, actually. And he was functional. And he was on drugs. I think I told y'all about him. Pop Molly's. After 2 months, I was done. Like, after 2 months, I was done. I couldn't take it no more. So, there's a lot of things about a man that I'm not going to tolerate. That's why I'm single now, by choice. Because at the end of the day, men, they have their standards too. There's certain things that they're not going to. You have men who, they don't seriously date single mothers. They're not doing it, or someone they're not going to date a woman who doesn't have a degree, or a woman who doesn't make a certain amount of money. Yeah, you'll be surprised. So when people come down on women and say, well, especially black women, we're not allowed to have standards. Y'all know that, right? They always come down on us like, oh, yo, men, all men have standards. I'm telling you, up to here. Like, and you got bum dudes too, that they don't have nothing going for themselves. But guess what? They girlfriend is a nurse. They girlfriend do this. They girlfriend do that. They girlfriend got a car. She drives. She got her own place. You know, so yeah. I'm not ashamed to have standards because I've been there, done that. I've lowered my standards before, and look what happened. Miserable. And another thing I wanted to talk about, a lady was saying that if a man don't mention marriage within the first 2 years, but then he does end up marrying you, you're not his first choice. So it was interesting she said that, because I feel like you can't put a timeline on love. You know, I would, even though, yes, who doesn't want to be a wife? But honestly, if I have to pick and choose, I would rather a man never marry me. We have a wonderful relationship and he never marry me, versus a man who marries me and makes my life hell. You know what I'm saying? Because you got some men that are so narcissistic that they will marry you just because they know that that's what you want. And they know that if they marry you, they got you. If that makes sense. They know that they could do what they want and you care about titles and status. And that's why I said I wanted to make this video to my ladies. Be very careful with what you tell a man that's important. If you're not telling him loyalty is important, if you're not telling him that friendship and trust, and if those things are not important to you and all you care about is marriage, yeah, he'll marry you, but you're not going to get the gratification, the satisfaction, or the loyalty, because he's like, oh, isn't this what you wanted? You wanted to be married, right? You never said I had to come home at night. You never said that it was just me and you. You just said marriage. But I feel like you have to be clear on the things you want, not just say, oh, I want marriage, because for some men, marriage is just a title, but they're not going to tell you that. When they see that you're desperate and that's all you care about, marriage, yeah, they'll give you that. And guess what? It doesn't mean a thing. I know somebody I went to high school with, and him and his child's mother, they got engaged, and he told me in confidence that he only gave her a ring to shut her up because that's all she kept talking about. And in the end, like, he broke up with her at one point, and then she broke up with him, and she wasn't even attracted to him physically. She called him ugly, which I knew that because I was friends with her, but I never told him that. I just wanted him to figure it out on his own. And I said, well, I'm sorry that happened, but yeah, she was never feeling you no way. But yeah, like, ladies, don't get caught up into that title stuff, because it don't matter. If, think about it, a no good man, right? If you're his wife versus his friend, side chick, whatever, what difference does it make? He's still a no good man. You want to be the wife of a good man, a loyal man, right? That's more important than any title. That's more important than anything. Of course, who don't want to be the wife? But at the end of the day, I want to be the wife of a good man, not just anybody's wife. Not just because, oh, he looks good, he got a good job. That's a plus. But I want somebody who's loyal, someone who's committed. Not just comes home at night, but actually affectionate. Somebody who wants to come home. When, you know, we going out on dates and I don't have to beg him. He not hanging out with his friends more than me. He's hanging out with me. He's spending time with me because he wants to. Commitment. You know. So I think what you want needs to be told and said, and you need to be clear and concise. And I think that's what's important, you know, because you got some people that's like, oh, you know, if she don't require A woman never has to say what she requires other than loyalty, respect, and everything else. And to be technical, you shouldn't even have to say that. But if you keep saying, oh, I want to be a wife, I want to be a wife, but you're not stressing the other important things, he gonna take you for your word. And he gonna, because I don't know if I told you. Yeah, I don't think I told y'all. So this scenario was on a few things. I think it was crime shows or something like that. But this doctor, he wasn't a real doctor. And he actually got married to 2 different women, 2 different states. And because they were so hyped about marriage, that's what he gave them. But he disappeared on them. And it was sad and embarrassing. One particular woman, her story stood out to me because she was a Christian. And so this is what he did. She told him, I'm keeping myself until marriage. And so you know what he did? He used her religion against her. So he would say things like, oh, he would come to church and nobody saw through his nonsense. And he tells her in a sermon, the sermon was something about listen to God's voice or something like that. So he told her, oh, the Lord is telling me that we need to get married. And she believed it. Like, oh, okay, God is speaking to him. Like, because he had everybody fooled that he was a Christian too. The devil knew how to camouflage himself. And that's scary. Be very careful of your vulnerability and what you want. Because the devil will send you somebody that looks so handsome, that looks so, you got to be careful of that too. So, and then what makes it worse is she was a single mom. I think she had 1 or 2 kids already, and then he got her pregnant. So they get married, she gets pregnant right away, and then he leaves. And it's embarrassing and confusing because it's like he pretended to be a Christian. They waited until marriage, even though it was only 3 months, but she let him know, like, I'm not going to get physical until we get married. And that's what he did. He gave her what she wanted, but you still got to be careful after you getting what you want. I'm pretty sure there were signs before he took off that she wasn't paying attention to, probably. But, and in the first case, the son, that was another single mother, he was older, but he caught on to him from the very beginning. He said he didn't like him. And he actually was financially supporting her. And, she found out he wasn't a real doctor and stuff like that. And he skipped town to go marry the next girl. So, yeah, be careful of that, ladies. And you can comment, like, and subscribe. What are the flaws that you would accept or not accept? Those are my thoughts.